Hi, my name is Bernadette Giangreco, and today I will be discussing my master's research curriculum project that explores establishing a safe, positive, and productive learning environment. My master's project directly aligns with the New York State Learning Standards, specifically Standard 1, Knowledge of Student and Student Learning, Standard 4, Learning Environment, Standard 5, Assessment for Student Learning, and Standard 6, Professional Responsibilities and Collaboration. Researching this area matters as it sets the foundation for a functioning learning environment. Incorporating different strategies into the classroom that promote appropriate behavior during intermediate grade levels is essential for the development of future behavior. Evidence from peer-reviewed literature found necessary expectations for teachers to establish in the classroom and specific strategies for teachers and administrators to implement to promote a safe, positive, and productive learning environment. So first, expectations. Expectations should be set from the first day you meet your students and reinforced throughout the entire year. If students recognize teacher lenience with their misbehavior, it will cause disruption to the environment and reset the formally founded expectations. Next, it is essential for teachers to model behaviors that they expect of their students. In order for students to be held accountable for their actions, teachers need to be as well. Furthermore, when teachers demonstrate the behaviors they seek from their students, students will better relate and maintain those same actions. And finally, teachers should be supportive of students in order to create safety within the community. This can be done by ensuring that students and teachers share the same expectations for the learning experience. Before students and teachers can identify the necessary expectations of the classroom, teachers must provide students with why expectations of the classroom even matter. I want to share with you an activity that I used in one of my lesson plans. For this lesson, all you will need is chart paper, markers, sets of dice for each group, paper, and pencils. So the teachers will separate students into small groups and will give each group a pair of dice and will tell the students to create a game using that pair of dice. Paper and pencils will be provided to students for any necessary writing. Each group will share with the class the rules of the game. Then, the class will discuss why rules are necessary for each of those games. After the anticipatory set, the teacher will lead the class into the lesson. The teacher will pose the following questions to the students. How do you want me to treat you? How do you want to treat one another? And how do you think I want to be treated? And finally, how should we treat one another when there's a conflict? Students will work in small groups to discuss their responses. The whole class will then come together and each group will share their responses. The teacher will write down the responses on chart paper. Each time an idea is repeated, the teacher will place a check mark next to it. The students will then look at their responses and discuss if some should be deleted or if there are any that need to be added. On a new piece of chart paper, the teacher will write the remaining rules. The teacher and students will sign that chart paper as a way of stating they pledge to follow the classroom rules. And finally, as a closure for this activity, the teacher could have students individually write responses to the question, why is it important that we set rules for our classroom? The students will then turn their response into the teacher. Again, this is a great activity for students to see why we even set expectations in the classroom. So I discussed expectations that must be set. Now let's discuss the second piece of evidence found in the peer-reviewed literature. The specific strategies that teachers and administrators must have for providing students with an effective learning environment. The first strategy is acknowledging student stressors that expand outside of the school walls. These are the moments where the teacher will truly be able to connect with their students. Investing in student lives outside of the classroom is as important as learning about their lives in school. I want to share with you an activity that I used in one of my lesson plans that directly correlates with this strategy. First, students will be separated into small groups. The teacher will have 4 stations set up around the room. The stations include write a letter to your future self, draw your summer, personality through a photo, and find someone who. Students will have the opportunity to complete each of these stations. At the end of this activity, students will share their summer drawing with the class. The teacher too will draw his or her summer and share with the class. This is a great activity to do in the beginning of the school year so students can show you who they are and what they enjoy outside of school. This is also an excellent activity to do after winter or spring break, as students and teachers are always evolving. And the final strategy is conducting teacher training throughout the year, and this may fall somewhat more on a school district's administration. In order for teachers to properly incorporate the many strategies and expectations into the classroom, it is essential that they receive the necessary tools through preparation. Overall, studying aspects for developing a positive, safe, and productive environment within the classroom is essential for establishing a foundation for every learning environment. With conducting such research, educators can determine the specific strategies that will most strongly benefit their students. Each student should be comfortable and confident in his or her learning environment. There should be no exception for feeling unsafe in one's own community. Thank you for joining me, and if you have any questions or comments, please do not hesitate to email me.